Hello everyone. Today we are going to get introduced to a concept which is vastly used for a particular storage purpose, that is sparse matrix. And also we are going to see how to store it using arrays and linked list. So what is a sparse matrix? Sparse matrix or sparse array is a matrix which have most of the elements as 0. That means there will be a matrix which has many elements, but if most of the elements in that are 0, very few are non-zero, it is called as sparse matrix. For a matrix to be considered as sparse, there is no as such a fixed criteria that okay, these many elements will make it sparse or this many elements will make it dense. No, but we'll just consider it as roughly if it has number of non-zero elements equal to the number of rows or number of columns, then it will be said as a sparse matrix. Rather, we will say that if a matrix is containing n variables or capable of storing n variables, and if it has more than 70% or 80% zero values, then it will, and very few as like 20% or 30% as non-zero value, it will be considered as a sparse matrix. So there is no such fixed criteria, but with the help of the percentage of non-zero values against total number of values, can judge whether the matrix is sparse or not. So the number of zero valued elements divided by total number of elements is called as sparsity of the matrix. Sparsity is the term which we can make use of it to the way we use the term density. Density means number of non-zero values against the total number of values, whereas number of zero values against the total number of values is called as sparsity. Okay, that by contrast we can say that if most of the elements are non-zero, the matrix will be called as a dense matrix. Okay, just to see an example of it, you can see these two matrices. Here in the first matrix, which is called as a dense matrix, number of non-zero variables, non-zero values are very few. Rather, in this particular example, there are no non-zero values present. Every cell is representing some value. So these are the number of rows and number of columns, and every cell is holding some value. Hence, this is a dense matrix. The density of non-zero variable is more in this case. Whereas if I am seeing this particular matrix, here very few non-zero values are appearing. Rest, which are represented by a dot, are nothing but zero values. Those cells are holding no values. This is called as a sparse matrix, where we have very few non-zero values. In dense matrix, we have huge number or nearly all as non-zero values. Its density is more, hence it is called as a dense matrix. Here the density of non-zero value is lesser, hence it is called as a sparse matrix. Or in other words, what we can say is the sparsity of zero elements are more. So sparsity is the number of zero elements against the number of total cells present in that matrix is called as a sparse matrix. So here what you can actually observe is, if I am talking about this particular matrix, it is nearly 10 by 10 matrix and is capable of holding hundreds of values. And when I am defining a matrix that is a 2D array, the space will be reserved well in advance. So as soon as this matrix is declared, either of these two matrices are declared, it is going to consume the space for 100 elements well in advance. You may store something or may not. But if I am then storing these values, I am finding that hardly 20-25 values I am storing out of total 100 spaces available with me. That means if I am even, let us say that it contains only 30 values, the space for 70 values is wasted, and it will be wasted throughout the program. So sparse matrix is considered separately in this case. The usage of sparse matrix is generally taken into consideration when we go for some support vector machine or machine learning or correlation data or regression data. This kind of computations when come into picture, this sparse matrix will be there. Okay, here let us say that if we are dividing it with a diagonal line, we are just for finding out how many elements are there on the in the upper side and on the lower side of the diagonal. So this way, if you are judging some regressions or some support vector machine problems, that time a sparse matrix will be a good data structure to be used. But if I am trying to use it and it has most of the non-zero values, storing it with the help of an array, simple two-dimensional array, will not make any sense. Okay, will be a wastage of use space. So sparse matrix storage is taken as a separate problem statement as far as data structure is concerned. So we take help of the basic data structures like array or linked list to store this matrix. So in this lecture, we are going to see how can we store a sparse matrix using a using some arrays. Okay, there are two kinds of representations possible. I can store it using array, which is called as a triplet representation. Okay, it is called as this sparse matrix can be stored as a triplet representation or a kind of 3-column distribution or 3-row distribution of a matrix, that is using arrays, and another is the linked list which we will see in the next lecture. So let us see how this sparse matrix can be represented using a array. So let us see an example. This particular representation representing a sparse matrix using table or using array is called as a triplet representation. This is a typically 3-row triplet. Okay, there is the possibility of 3-column triplet also that will come across later. This is called as a 3-row triplet. Okay, so there are 3 rows which are defined and which will be representing this matrix. Now see this matrix. Total number of columns it has is 6 and total number of rows it has is 5. So in total this element this matrix is capable of storing 30 values. Is capable of storing 30 values. But if I am seeing this particular representation, there are only 6 values which are non-zero, which is very few as compared to the total one. Only 1/5 of the positions, that is 20% of the positions are filled, rest of the positions are left blank or are holding a 0 value. So this is an ideal example of sparse matrix. So instead of representing this sparse matrix in this format, can we attempt some other methodology to represent this so that we can save at least some amount of space? Right now I am taking a very small example. We'll come across this sparse matrix when we'll learn graphs, and graphs will be represented using sparse matrix. That time the idea will be, application of it will be clear. But right now we are dealing with a very small sparse matrix of 30 cells only, that is 5 by 6. So still, how can I save some space out of it? So we can define a triplet. We can define a triplet where first row will represent the row number of the non-zero value, second will represent the column number of the non-zero value, and third will represent the value of that cell. Okay, so while defining this, what we'll do, the first column will be dedicated for a cumulative information, where we will define how many number of rows are there. Total number of rows are 5. How many total number of columns are there? We are going to define 6. and how many values, different values are there, different non-zero values are present. Okay, so this first column is going to represent the cumulative information, which talks about number of rows present in the matrix, number of columns present in the matrix, and number of non-zero values present in the matrix. Okay, then from second column onwards, we will try to accommodate the information of non-zero values. So let us see the first, check the first row. In first row, that is 0th row, row number 0, the first, second, third, fourth are zero values, and number 4, the column number fifth, or fifth column is having a non-zero value, that is column 4, that is starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is the fifth column. So matrix 0, 4 is holding a value 9. Okay, so this is the row number, this is the column number, and this is the value of the non-zero element. Okay, next element I scan, the row is over, there are no further elements. When I scan the first row, I find the first element, that is 0 and 1, then happens to be 8. Similarly, scan the rest of them, there is no element. The second row and its 0th element is 4. In the second row itself, you have element number 3 with index 3 is 2. Okay, so this way we can gradually build a triplet which will give me the information about the non-zero elements in the matrix. Okay, so if I am trying for the third row, a row with index 3, the index 5 number is 5. Index 4 row, its column index 2 is having value 2 in that. Okay, so this is the equivalent representation or 3-row representation or triplet representation of the array. Okay, so here if I am seeing that, since this 9 plus 9 plus 3, okay, so total 21 spaces we have used, total 21 cells we have used as compared to 30 cells in the sparse matrix representation or matrix representation or 2D format representation. So here we have saved the space of 9 elements. Again, column number 1 is very optional, but this is a cumulative information, so that when we backtrack or when we form a sparse matrix from a triplet, we will be knowing how many rows and how many columns are there in total. So that's why we are keeping that information. Otherwise, this particular information is optional. Even if you are not storing it, is not going to make a difference. But if we want to reconstruct the sparse matrix back, at that time it will be needed. That's why we are maintaining it. Okay, so this is called as a 3-row triplet representation of an array. As I said, there can be 3-row triplet representation. There can be 3-column triplet representation, which will be transpose of whatever we have seen earlier in the previous example. Here you can see the rows are representing the whole. In the previous case, the column was representing the whole information of an element. In this case, the row is representing the whole information. Okay, so number of total rows 5, number of total columns 6, and number of total non-zero elements as 6. Okay, so this is information in the cumulative form, and then you see the 0th row with 4th index column is having value 9. Okay, so this value is represented as 0, 4. This represented as 1, 1. So same thing whatever we have done in the previous case, but now we are arranging in a column format. Okay, first column representing the row number, second column representing the column number, and third column is representing the non-zero value which is present, which was little different in the previous case. That was a row triplet. This one is the column triplet. 3-column triplet representation of a sparse matrix. Okay, so this way we can save some space of sparse matrix, which will be easy for us if the size is too big. Let us say that we have 100 by 100 array, which is going to consume nearly 10,000 blocks, that too well in advance, and we are storing hardly 100-200 values in that. That means wasting 9,000, 9,500, 9,800 spaces. So without doing that, instead of doing that, we can represent the sparse matrix in the triplet representation, and we can save a significant space. In this, as it is a small one, we could hardly save 9 spaces, but 9 spaces over 30 spaces is also not a small amount which we saved. Okay, so this is a logic, simple logic behind representing a triplet. We have a small program to see how we can build a triplet. So we can declare a sparse matrix. Let us say that it is declared as 4 by 5, and we can initialize it. You can either initialize it, or you can, if you wish, you can dynamically accept it from the keyboard. That's up to you. But here in this program, I have initialized it. So you can see here most of the elements are 0, and in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Only 6 elements are present. Okay, so 4 by 5 means it can accommodate, it is using space of 20, but it is holding only 6 elements in that. So how can I represent the same using a triplet representation? So first of all, what we are supposed to get? We are supposed to get how many number of rows will be there in a triplet. I am talking about a 3-column triplet. So how many number of rows will be there? So because those many elements will be stored, that's why we need to get the number of non-zero elements present in the sparse matrix. Okay, so go on scanning this in this way for I equal to 0 till I less than 4, and j is equal to 0 till j is less than 5. 4 and 5 are the number of rows and number of columns. This is the access of 2D array. This way we can access a 2D array. If you don't remember, please go through that lecture and just find out whether the element scanned, that is ijth element, is 0. If it is 0, if it is not 0, then increment size by 1. What is size? Size is going to return us number of total non-zero elements in the sparse matrix, because only those I want to store. Okay, so size I got. Now declare one more element. This declaration should be well in advance, but for understanding purpose I am doing it here. If you are writing this program, then please make this declaration as the declaration in the beginning, or before, after size, or what you can do is you can run this program with a C++ compiler. That time this will be permitted. Okay, even this will be permitted. Fine. So this way we have got the size of the number of non-zero elements of the sparse matrix. That number of non-zero elements is going to decide the number of columns in that particular. So 3 rows and whatever 6 columns. So here, sorry, this is representing a 3-row triplet representation. 3 rows and number of columns will be equal to the size of column. Here, particularly in this program, we are not taking care of the consolidated information. If you wish, you can add that, because that is nothing but the size, that 4 and 5, which is already defined, that you can directly take. But here it is not. It is directly storing the non-zero elements. Now what we are doing? We are scanning the value row, the integer row and integer column, one by one. And what we are doing, if sparse matrix is non-zero, why row and column? Because we need to store the row value. Okay, we need to store the column value, and we need to store the value of the element, that non-zero element. 3 things we need to store. That's why in this program we are getting 3 things. the row, we'll start from 0, 0th row, 0th column, check whether element 0, 0 is non-zero or not. If it is non-zero, then the row number 0 and row number column are going to appear in the final matrix. I am giving name it as a trip matrix, that is triplet matrix. So here you see, if it is non-zero, that respective row number will become the first element in that row, getting me, in that column, and column will become the second element in that column, and third element will be that non-zero value which we scanned. Okay, so these three things we are going to store. That's this way the triplet is going to form. There will be three values. See, we have already defined it. How many columns will be there in that? Columns will be equal to size. What is size? Size is 6, therefore 6 columns. Number of rows 3. Every time it will be 3. Only number of columns are going to change, because three things we are going to store: row, column, and the value. Now let us see here, row equal to 0, column equal to 0, this value comes out to be 0. For row equal to 0, column equal to 1, this also comes out to be 0. When row is equal to 0 and column is equal to 2, at that time value is non-zero, value is 3. So as soon as value is non-zero, what I am going to do? 0k. Okay, so this is k, this is k. 0, 1, 2, 3. K is going to vary from 0 to 6. 0 to 6 minus 1, 0 to size minus 1. Okay, so k is right now 0. Okay, so this way I am going to store the elements in this. So 0 k means 0 0. This is trip matrix. 0 0 element will be the row at which that non-zero element is present. What is that? 0. 1 0 will be the column at which it is present. Column is 2. And 2 0 will be the element which is there, which is present. That is 3. Getting me? This way it is getting constructed. As soon as we make an entry, make k is equal to k plus 1. So k will be pointing to this. Now again check with row equal to 0, column is equal to 4, sorry, column is equal to 3. It is not a non-zero value. Again row 0, column 4, we have a non-zero value. Okay, column 4. So this will be 0, this will be 4, and this will be 4. Are you understanding this? So this way we are constructing a trip matrix. If you wish, you can just manually complete this loop on this. Again, now the row will change. Row will be 1. Column will again vary from 0 to 6. So this won't be there. This won't be there. Column, row is 1 now. So row will be 1. Column will be 2. And value will be 5. So this way you can manually run this loop and get all other cells filled, and you will be understanding how this program is working. And finally, we are just running a loop to output all those variables. This program directly you can run on your compiler, you will be getting the output. Okay, this is a full program. So this is the way we are able to represent a sparse matrix using a triplet representation. Ultimately, that is also array representation. That's why this I can say that this is the way we can represent the sparse matrix storage using arrays. Okay, I hope you understood this. Thank you very much.